we meet you, sir?
Oh, shalom. My name is David Day.
Dr. David there.
Yes.
All right. You've got some quite interesting things to tell us about the Igbo culture and customs. But interestingly, you are not Igbo.
Yes.
May we have an idea of your background?
Well, I'm from London. I'm British, but my blood is Gaelic, Celtic, Irish, and Israelite Hebrew blood. So basically, I'm a Hebrew person with a British passport. But I'm also an Igbophile, meaning to say I love Igbo culture, and there's a reason for that.
All right. May we know your reasons for
The reason is,
appreciating Igbo
I
culture?
came here 22 years ago. I was a normal white man. I found myself by going to an Igbo village, being treated like a son of the soil, being treated with hospitality and love. And when I was sick, a village woman came to see me. She prayed to God and shook like I was her son. I never knew love like that. I never knew hospitality like that. I became a lover of Igbos. I prayed to God, God, give me experience. Give me things that I can do, and I will come back here and serve this nation. So I was separated by God, and I was given a new lease of life by the Igbo nation, by their kindness and love.
Okay, now that made you to come closer to study the culture of the Igbo. And interestingly, some of our people, because I'm an Igbo, they are saying that our culture is bad, that we should change the ways we do things and embrace a new culture, especially the one that is being propagated under Christianity. And I want to ask you, do you really think the Igbo culture is bad? Anything is wrong with it, and that we should dump it for Christian values as is being propagated?
I think it's the best culture in the world. I've experienced the culture. I've spent time with people. I've studied Igbos all over the world. I've trained Igbos over generations. I have studied the history, and I'm telling you unequivocally, there's no one like Igbos. Love your culture. Try to have a revival. We need to bring back some of the richness of the original culture, because I believe there's what we call in psychology dissonance in our people. Dissonance means you have an imbalance in your mind because you're not satisfied and contented with your own background. You've now been brainwashed that cultures from elsewhere, from abroad, are better. In particular, the white colonialists have infected the culture here and changed it to the point where people are, let me use this word, they're almost lost. And they have to be found again. And being found...
You mean the people are almost lost in terms of their disconnection with their culture and background?
Exactly. That's the point. You see, if you go back to Igbo culture, and I've done my studies, there it was values based upon caring for others, having justice, truth, democracy. You had a council of elders in each village. They deliberated on things. Sometimes they argued, but they always came to generally a just position. But that was scattered and ruined by the British colonialists because they couldn't rule in an exploitative way Igbo land.
When they are together.
Yes, they couldn't.
They couldn't actually penetrate the people, with their cohesion and with the republicanism that they met, where everybody's opinion mattered.
Exactly. That beautiful culture was now scattered and destroyed by corruption which came from warrant chiefs. These warrant chiefs, and many of the Ezi lines and chiefs relate back originally
to the British authorities.
Yes, to the British
their
authority.
Loyalty was shifted from the people to the British authorities that appointed them, who actually used them for their own ends.
Exactly, that's the point.
And then how do we get our people to know this? And now, what is the role that Christianity is playing in sustaining this?
It's a very big problem. If you read ancient records, historical records of the early colonialists, you will see people like Lugard used missionaries and deliberately brought missionaries in order to win the hearts and minds of Igbos over. Because they believed if you can make them believe their original culture is faulty, you now have a slave. They will now be dependent on you. So it was a deliberate strategy.
So everything is about the mind.
Yes.
So a mind, and then that will make you reject who you are. And because you are no longer satisfied with who you are, then the possibility of introducing a new identity that actually fits into the mold of the colonialist, can now emerge.
Yes. See, the British were expert at this. They followed the Roman Empire, and they used these tactics of picking one or two people, calling them British, giving them awards from Britain, now making them feel that they are elite, they are ahead of their people, and now using them to control their people. So it was a mind game. It was mental slavery. And there's historical proof for this. I was reading an ancient book in the Enugu library a while back, and they deliberately targeted certain groups in Igbo land who had knowledge, like the Arochukwu. The Arochukwu nation, some people think negatively of them, but no one can doubt they had superior knowledge, and they were killed by the British. They were wiped out. There was all kinds
because there was that possibility of standing against them intellectually.
Yes.
Okay, now briefly, what do you think about the concept of God, especially as it is found and expressed in Igbo culture, Chukwu Okike? Is there any unity, between that and the God as we know it, and maybe as Christianity professes it?
I think the notion of the supreme God, Chukwu Okike Abiyama, is superior to their Christian God, who was changed, who was Europeanized. Let me give you an example. The original Israelites, Yeshua, the Messiah, were black. The historical evidence is clear. So why now come here with a white Jesus, with pictures of Jesus? This is your God. This is so God is a white God. It was a lie. Chukwu Abiyama means, in my mind, I'm a Hebrew, it means I'm aligned to people from here because they have that sacred knowledge that there's one supreme God, Chukwu Abiyama, the God of Abraham, the God of Abraham. So yes, we should have a revival, because where people believe in their original culture, when they have their original values. Let me give you an example. So much of, excuse my Igbo, Omenala,
yes.
So much of it is based upon the Torah. It's very sound principles. You must not change the boundaries of someone's land, or you'll be cursed. If a man dies, the brother should look after the wife. Circumcision, so many things. But the principles of how you look after the community in Umenala, how you find justice, they're based upon ancient values which come from Hebrew culture. So for me, the Igbos are more closer in their original culture to the true way of the Bible than Christians. So it was spoiled. And even to this day, many people are saying we have to go abroad. Let me give you an example. 2 weeks ago, I went to Onitsha. I walked into a brewery factory. The place was obsolete. All millions of dollars. The manager of the factory said, no, we used to have a white manager. Now he's dead, nothing is happening. So people don't even believe in themselves. I have some Igbo friends who are going to go to that factory, fix the machinery. Not white people. So I'm just giving you an example of this lack of belief in yourself that stops progress. It stops progress. So Francis and I, one of your radio commentators, we run programs. And in those programs, we teach self-confidence, identity, and you should rise above. Africa will rise, but Igbos are going to be the head of everyone else.
So that I like that, and we are going to end it on this very positive note. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
You can see that now it's taking a white man, a Briton, an Israeli, a Jew to come here and tell us about our culture. I think it has a lot to say about who we have chosen to be today. Thank you very much.
Shalom. Thank you.
Shalom.
Hold on. I will just say Igbo Kwenu.
Yeah.
Igbo Kwen.
Yeah.
It means, because it's a Hebrew word, Kwenu means let's enlarge.
Yeah.
So let Igbo enlarge.
Enlarge. Thank you very much.
Rule the world with love.
Yes.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Thank you.
Igbo Kwenu. So you can see that actually there is nothing basically wrong with us. There is nothing wrong with who we are. There is nothing wrong with what we are. But what is wrong in every way is the way, we think about ourselves, the way we think, about what we think we are. As a matter of fact, we have been psychologically made to feel that we are inferior, that we are not as good as we ought to be. And that is why we were told our names are bad, and we agreed. And then we changed from our names to a different thing. And that is why we believe that our language is not good. And then we are dropping our language to speak English, to speak French, to speak German. Okay? In as much as I can say, yeah, I'm communicating with you in English language, it is because the people suppressed our language, with our own help, to make theirs to be more attractive to us, that we all have come to embrace their culture by way of their language, by way of their food, by way of their lifestyle. And then this collectively continue to make, through technology, their own culture to grow, to kind of overshadow every other person's culture. And then I ask you, what makes you think that Chukwu Okike Abiama is inferior to God? It is the same concept. Chukwu is God, God is Chukwu. But because it is told you in another language, because another person who has made you to believe that is better is telling you that God is better than Chukwu, you've come to embrace that, you've come to believe that. And today we have found ourselves in this fix. Well, for me, this is something that calls for serious sober reflection. We should sit down, think about it, ask these pertinent questions, and try to get answers for them. And I tell you, life is such easier when you apply your rationality in appraising issues. There are so many things that cannot just add up, and there are so many things that are made themselves so easily available to you when you rationally ask these questions and then try to deconstruct, try to get some answers. Because a lot of falsehood has been fed to the people, and the people have been blighted by these false impressions about themselves. Identity crisis, that is what not just the Igbo man but the entire African continent is suffering from, because we have made to reject who we are. And they are telling me, is God foolish when he created us black? Is God foolish when he gave me my language? Is God foolish when he chose to locate me here? And what is not beautiful about this place? I mean, you just have to know that wherever you stand is the center of the world for you. From there, reach out to locate others, but don't allow people to smother you. Thank you very much. Be conscious of who you are, and who you are is never in any way bad. I am Word Short.